Hey guys, OFSREagle here, bringing you a brand new video today. Today I'm bringing you a new video regarding the new map that is going to be making its way into rotation for the HCS playlist called Fissure by -0. If you didn't see, I did a new map video, jump video for the map Echelon or Echelon. It's actually called Echelon. I have a habit of calling it Echelon. I stand corrected by my friend GM Slice. Anyway, what I did for that map, took some time to see if there were any jumps and tricks for movement with that map, and the reason why is because they're putting Echelon and this map, Fissure, definitely into the HCS playlist soon. There's also a third one in the talks called Sanctum or Outpost. I'll get to that in probably another video. The previous video I did was Echelon. I found some jumps, and everything is under the umbrella of this is brand new. This is by no way and no means the final word on these things. I do make assumptions. I do try certain jumps by myself, and then I'm making this video to kind of share my findings. I could be wrong with them, so I did want to emphasize that I'm by no means saying that this is, well, concrete with what I find. So I also want to, if you didn't know, I'll leave a link down in the description of the article that kind of says what's going on with these HCS settings and maps. So the reason why I'm on these maps is because they are being added to rotation. So with the new fresh map, where everyone's excited to see how it plays, to see what could be the new, the new findings, the everything regarding it. So I'm really excited to see what we can find here, and I've already taken some time to kind of move around, see if there are any jump spots and things like that. Now with the map Echelon, it was a lot more urban, so there are a lot more things to find. This one has very much a Guardian feel, and it's very simplistic in layout and in nature. And I also went to Forge mode to see if there were certain areas that I could access. I was initially running on a map that was an earlier iteration, and there was a lot of little nooks and crannies you could hide behind. Since then, the author -0 has gone and completely just blocked off a lot of things. So it's very simplistic in nature, which is fine. So there aren't nearly the amount of jumps as I found in Echelon. But I will share what I found here, and if you guys find anything, I'm more than happy to, again, please share that with me. Really excited to see what you guys find as well. Did want to point out, you also may see that the lighting is a little bit different from before. I added a complete RGB lighting scheme in my room here, so the lighting's gonna change. I just kind of like how fresh it is. I like it. So also, you'll notice I don't have Ground Pounder Spartan Charge. That's because they actually completely removed it from HCS settings. So I'm going to be navigating this map without it. So with that being said, I'm going to share with you what I found. Again, this won't be nearly as long as Echelon, but here we go. So I did want to first point out by saying there's a lot of invisible barriers just kind of surrounding the map. So there's a lot of things that I really won't pay attention to because I went into Forge mode and kind of looked to see what's possible and what isn't, so I didn't kind of waste my time. Before in the previous iteration, you were actually able to go out of map through here, but he has since blocked that off, and you can't even get very far. You'll see, I kind of hit invisible barrier there. So this first one I'm going to point out is going to be here, and a lot of this I believe should be symmetrical. So this isn't a completely symmetrical map, but it is like a mirror image almost. So you have a lot of things that are applicable on one side are applicable on the other. So for example, here at Red 2, you're able to sprint. So if you kind of have this layout of the map, you'll see it's very simplistic. It's basically circular in nature when you go around. Again, if you go into a custom game and play around on it, you'll get a good feel for it. It's very intuitive. But here, you're actually able to kneecap off of this ledge here and get up here without a clamber. I think that's useful. Very simple. Again, you just jump, thrust, hold, jump, and you'll hit up here without a clamber. Otherwise, you do have to clamber. again, I've not seen any gameplay on this map, so I don't know what are some high engagement areas or not. Navigating from here to up there, just for the sake of speed, if you want, you can sprint, thrust, slide, and it'll shoot you right up there without a clamber. The one thing I did want to point out is over here, I noticed these pillars. You are able to actually sit up here. Yep. And so I don't know how useful that will be in game, but you can stand on these top ones. I assume it's possible with all of them. I'm having difficulty getting on ones in other areas. So the ones that come off of these high ledges, what's that called? Red Nook? Okay. I have no idea, not no idea. I've tried many different approaches. So for example, I've tried a spring thrust jump, and just I recall being able to do it like once before, where I kind of sit up there, and I thought it'd be really useful for kind of getting the jump on someone coming through that alleyway, but I have not been able to replicate it. I don't know if it's me, which I assume it is, or it might be just impossible with the way it stands. I did try stuff like this, doing a thrust slide bump, so something like this. That I timed wrong, but so like I don't know exactly. It's gonna take a lot of playing around with. I mean, I just found a new jump on Coliseum the other day, so like, and that's how so it may take a long time to really find jumps that it may take a year or so. I don't know. So we'll see how this goes, but yeah. So I'm pretty sure it's possible. I know for sure down here, and I believe the same on blue side, but. You're definitely able to. I think if you thrust in, it makes it a little bit easier. Also, yeah, something like that. So over here on blue deck and blue street, you're able to. If you do a slide, it won't work. But you are able to sit up here. So I don't know how useful that will be. I feel like it may be useful if this is like a high traffic area. Be able to pop out and do something like this. I'm not sure. Could be wrong. I mean, you otherwise don't have really a hiding spot over here. So initially, there's especially before he kind of did invisible barriers to everything, you were able to like get under like here and stuff. You can see those little ledges of rocks. You're able to get under there. It's pretty clear that that's impossible now, from what I can tell. Like for this area, like right here, like you were able to actually go under there, but you'll notice that when I go to, let's say, kind of thrust under there, I just get shoved right off. So sadly, as a jumper, it doesn't seem to be possible, but I did find a few things. So this is basically, from what I can tell, impossible to get near. I do believe there's one spot that your feet can catch, but that's about it. But on the red side, there is, even with the barriers here, there are barriers. Let's see if I can hit it. There is a clamber spot. It sits right next to the death line, so it's really risky. But it's over here. But done right, there is this spot like that. So I don't know just how useful this will be in game, but I know that it's possible, so there may be an instance where it may be of use. So as you saw right there, because I went in with too much momentum, I kind of hit they kind of turned into a ramp rather than a resting spot. So again, it may just be practice, may be the variable that needs to be mastered. Okay, so like there, and then what you can do is then come back like that. But why I find it interesting is because the author specifically put blockers there, so it would be possible. So with that being said, it's most likely there to stay, because it's already kind of been taking care of those little like not glitchy, but hiding spots. So the fact that that one remains is a good sign that it's kind of there to stay. So by blue side, what I found, again along those lines of kind of like a hiding spot using invisible blocker, in the same sense that you can kind of hide under there from red side, over here by blue room, maybe if there's a gunfight going, I don't know, again the instance, but you're actually able to stand here and drop and thrust in, and you're able to stand here. And it may seem kind of exposed, but I think the biggest use it will be for is ambushing this. You might be able to like round the corner, thrust in. Obviously there's a risk with that. If you miss the invisible blocker by a bit, you'll obviously fall. But I do think it might lend itself to be useful in some instance. Only time will tell. I don't believe it's possible on red side. I've tried a few times, and every time I do it, it kind of just slides me down. I've done it quite a number of times. Something like this, I do think may lend itself to be useful at some point. This isn't necessary. This may just be an added mechanic. So if you want to go from this red area to over there, you can sprint and do this, right? And it's perfectly fine. It's probably more valuable than what I'm about to show you. But I just thought in a brief instance, if you just need to get somewhere quickly, you can do that. I was kind of playing around with the distances a bit. Now this I do think will may be useful. Again, kind of in the same thing with Echelon, kneecapping. It is possible on both sides. It's harder on blue side than is red side. You can actually avoid this clamber altogether by kneecapping. Alright? And now I wasn't trying to show you, landing on that. The goal, you're actually able to kneecap and stabilize right up to the top up there. Like that. It's possible on blue side and red side. I've done it on both. I think with practice it may be something that becomes habitual. The only way you can avoid the clamber here is by doing a thrust stabilize. And at that point you might as well just do the kneecap if you choose. It isn't easy to hit. It's not too difficult, but it isn't just like willy-nilly easy, but like that. This might be really difficult. Yeah, you can hit it from there. So you can do that. It really is kind of pushing the edges of the timing. Your timing has to be right, and it's very easy to mess up. I think with practice you'll be able to get confident enough in it, but like just missing it by a hair, and you don't have your ground pound, so there is no saving that. So there is a high risk to that. It is, I mean, that's a very far distance. It kind of just goes to prove, I mean, just look at that, just how far these Spartan abilities really can get you. You are able to kneecap the edges of the top mid area. I don't know what it could exactly be used for. So, for example, like you can see, I get a lot of air on that. Same thing kind of goes for. There's another area. So even just going from up here to up there, I'm able to do something like that. I've used that a few times, but I mean, I don't know how useful that will actually be in game. But yeah, so I think that's all I can really share for this map right now. Again, it doesn't really seem to lend itself to be jumpy, quote unquote. But hopefully, I do feel like what is there, especially that. I do feel like I think there's about three jumps here with high value, being that first one, this spot more or less. This I feel like might have some value, and then the not only those, but also this kneecap one down here. I feel like with practice could become pretty quick, pretty useful. We have to see where this leads. There may be a lot more undiscovered stuff. There probably is, but yeah. So those are my findings for this map, Fissure by -0. Hope you guys enjoyed. Again, let me reiterate, because I know there's a few people who are trying to put me on blast for whatever reason. I'm not saying this is the final word by any means. I could be wrong about a lot of this. I've been wrong before. So with that, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.